My name is Rodney Warner, and I practiced law for about 16 years. And for about the past 7 years, I've been writing content for websites, mostly for lawyers and law firms. And this presentation is about different ideas that you can use for content to fill up your website. You can spend a lot of money on a website, but going cheap with content is not a good idea because that's why people come to your website. Content helps you convert a website visitor to a warm lead, which is what you want. You want people to contact you, and hopefully that person will eventually become a client. As you can see, there is all kinds of content. They do different things differently. And in 5 to 10 years, who knows what kind of content we'll be putting on websites. Case studies are, I think, the secret marketing weapon hiding in plain sight. It's a way to demonstrate to website visitors that you know what you're doing and that good things happen to your clients. You are not going to develop someone into a client if they don't trust you. And one way you can develop trust is to show that others have trusted you and good things have happened. Testimonials are another powerful marketing weapon that you can use on your website, but are probably limited by your rules of professional conduct. So if you want to go this route, check out your rules of professional conduct because they probably can't say something like, Johnny's a great attorney because he got me a $500,000 settlement for my injury claim. You're probably going to be fairly limited to something like, Johnny's a great lawyer. He cares about his clients. He always answered my phone calls. You should really hire Johnny because he's a great attorney. Something like that would probably fly under your rules of professional conduct, and something like that could be really helpful. I think another testimonial to go after is the professionals who refer cases to you. Could be other attorneys, accountants. I think people are going to trust the words of these people. So if there are other professionals out there sending clients to you, get a testimonial, some kind of review from them. Infographics are a combination of graphics plus text to explain something or provide some kind of information. I think these can be really great if you're trying to illustrate some statistics. Let's say how many people are injured in motorcycle accidents or how many people get divorced. But I think they could also give me good when there's a bureaucratic or some kind of legal process which can get really kind of complicated. You could explain probate or immigration or the workers' comp system, because I think there's a lot of, people don't really know how those systems work, and I think infographics would be a great way to explain how they do. Articles have become much more popular among my clients. They want articles. These are pieces that could be 1,000 to 2,000 words long. And this is driven by Google, who, based on their search algorithm, they're looking for authoritative, trustworthy material to provide people doing searches, and they're equating length with something that's authoritative and trustworthy, which may or may not be true because a well-written 400-word piece could be much more authoritative and useful than 2,000 words of garbage. Writing these articles in a way that keeps people's attention, keeps them on the page, keeps them going through 2,000 words is a challenge. And you're going to have to do a good job with this, or people are just going to stop reading it. Blogs are the workhorse of the law firm website. At least they used to be. Now, maybe not so much because I think more law firms are getting into the longer article material, but I think you could still get a lot of mileage out of them. They're an opportunity to, illustrate to the reader that you know what you're doing and that you're trustworthy. And blogs can cover any kind of number of subjects. It could be recent legal developments. If there's a news story that's out, it could be used to illustrate how the law works and the challenges that a client can face in a particular area of law, but you can also blog about, what's going on in your town, something more local, something that will get attention. And blogs are also going to be useful as subjects of social media posts because you're supposed to regularly, blast out these social media posts and you've got to talk about something. So why not your blog? Biographies are critical to a law firm website. I think many law firms ignore them or kind of don't think they're important, and you can tell because they're really poorly written. I think biographies are important to establish your expertise, to show your background and your experience in whatever it is you do. That will help you establish some trust with the potential client. And I think you also need to shed some light on you as an individual. Show us a little bit of your personal side. I mean, I wouldn't do a deep dive into what you do on your own time, but I think it's really helpful to show some way that people can read your biography and somehow connect with you as a person. Videos are increasingly popular. They're what people want to watch, and you may be able to get someone's attention with a video that you might not get with a blog or an article. You may be tempted to use your smartphone to shoot these videos because you want to save some money, but you can get some decent equipment fairly cheap, especially if you want to use eBay. You can find all kinds of stuff on eBay that may produce really good videos at not a whole lot of money. I think an important thing is not to shortchange the audio. You don't want to sound like you're 50 feet away from the camera, so get a decent microphone. I don't know what your budget is, if you have a budget, but check out some local video producers and see how much they charge because even if you can only do a limited number of professionally shot videos, it may get you better results than a half dozen do-it-yourself videos. Podcasts have become very popular, and for a law firm, it gives you the opportunity to speak directly to someone who might be a client, someone who might be a referral source. And just like any other content, it needs to bring value. It needs to bring value to that listener. It has to be informational. It has to be useful. You could make it entertaining if you want, but you can't make it a blatant ad for your practice because you might get someone to listen to one podcast, but they're not going to come back for more of them. You could make one with really high quality as long as you have a good microphone. You might want to get a mic stand depending on the type of mic you're using. Mixing software you can download for free. I use Audacity. And you really should get some guests. Get guests because it'll make it more interesting. You're not just talking about yourself. Once you get more than one mic, you're going to need a mixer, which makes it a little more complicated and expensive, but it's not a big deal. Many attorneys have PowerPoint presentations to help them get clients and referral sources. They're PowerPoints they give to Chamber of commerce meetings or networking meetings. These are people they hope might lead them to a potential client. If you have a PowerPoint presentation, why not put it on your website? I mean, it's an approach that I'm using because I think it's something different. You don't see a lot of PowerPoints on law firm websites, so try to break away from the pack and see how it goes. Um, it's really pretty easy to convert a narrated PowerPoint presentation into a video, and you could post it on your website. You could put it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, just about anywhere. And it's not difficult. The bottom line is if I can figure out how to do this, then you can too. Whatever your area of practice, there are things that are confusing or complicated. There are issues that the average potential client doesn't understand or needs to be informed about. And Q&As or FAQs are really great tools to educate people. If you're in a estate planning practice, you could explain, okay, what is a trust? And I think this could be helpful with SEO. So let's say you have a page on what is a will. Maybe somebody who types in what is a will find your page. A white paper is longer than an article, but it's shorter than an ebook, and it's a piece that really allows you to go in depth into a topic or a series of related topics that can help you establish that you're an expert and you are trustworthy to a potential client. You can discuss how to solve a complex issue or maybe lay out legal issues and solutions that your clients deal with. You could talk about what's the current status of a certain area of law, and maybe you could predict where the area of law is going. And as far as the white paper is concerned, I think is an extra bonus is, there are people who may be willing to supply you their contact information to get this white paper if the topic is interesting enough to them, so you can expand your email list. Ebooks are much deeper dives than a white paper or an article. I wrote one for a client, I think it was about 50 pages. He represents small businesses, and the topics were all these different legal issues that his clients could face. It's not a novel, it's not a textbook. I think you have to follow some of the same rules as any other website content. You have to give the information that the reader wants or needs. You have to keep it going. You don't want to make it too dry. You want people to finish the book. So it has to be appealing and interesting. I don't know if ebooks would be great for every area of practice, but I think there are some if you have a divorce practice where you could set aside a chapter or maybe two on practical issues on how to, let's say, survive a divorce. Because if you're an experienced divorce attorney, you've seen a lot of couples and some of them handle it much better than others. And maybe you can give some practical personal advice that's really going to get the reader's attention and have them really appreciate you and the wisdom that you're giving. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for listening to the presentation. If you need help with website content, please let me know. You may not have the time or the expertise to write it, but I do. You can send me an email at writerforhire@outlook.com. As you can see, there's my LinkedIn profile. And I've also started a podcast with a couple other guys in the marketing field, threebaldguyspodcast.com. Please check it out. If you have any questions, if I can help, please let me know. Thank you.